I'm joined here today by the one, the only Youssef Zalal, coming off the big win over Jordan Griffin at UFC Vegas 4. What's going on, man? How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How's everything currently? I assume you got back home, you got finished all the COVID testing. How did all that go for you?
It was very weird, but I mean it was pretty good though. Came back and we just taking time off for a bit for the week, and then before we go back to training again.
For sure. Was it scary going through all the testing, all the traveling and stuff? I know right now things are a little bit weird in the world.
It was scary because there's like we had it was a guy over there that came talk to me and everything, and his coaches tested positive and they come out of the card. So I was like, holy shit, like
Yeah.
this is like real. They're not playing around. So I was like, I was a little worried for a little bit. I was like, well, what the hell? Like, if anybody tested positive and they're around me, we got problems. So like all sketched up all week and all that. So it was very weird, but I'm glad it went through and everything happened.
Oh, you said the guy that came to you, was that Ramiz Brahimai? I think we found out his coaches. Yeah, yeah.
I was talking to him the whole time. We're like, yeah, brother, let's go get this fight and this and that. And literally the next day, I'm hearing like, oh, somebody got pulled out of the card. I was like, what? I was like, where was it? And then they told me, oh yeah, somebody tested positive. I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah. And it's crazy that it's someone you talk to, right? It's never somebody like you haven't talked to at all. Like that doesn't affect me. It's like shit. I was talking to him yesterday.
I was scary. I was like, God, I was like, I could have been out of the card if anything happened,
Yeah.
you know? I know it was his coach, but still.
Right. I mean the way we still don't have all the facts, but it sounds like it moves so fast that it's just scary. You don't want to take that chance anyways, right?
I was there. I traveled there to fight, not travel there, get tested, and then came back here. You know what I mean? That's not happening.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How was the testing though? I know at one point they were doing stuff in the nose that everybody hated. I think now they're doing mouth swabs. What are they doing now?
Yeah, just the mouth, like the throat one. So like they take a big thing, like especially the one that with the nose, they just put it in your
Yeah.
throat. Like you gotta like lean back, open your mouth, and then boom, touch your throat, and they're like,
Uh,
oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a lot. I like that one better than the brain one. I never done the brain one. I do not want to do the brain one. I am extremely happy with just the throat one. I'm not doing that one.
Yeah, the brain one looks terrifying. I saw the guys
Oh
posting the stuff on
God.
social media. Yeah, that huge Q-tip, and everybody likes to go around in there. Yeah, sounds awful. And so, did that take away from the fight a little bit? Like, was that a little bit distracting? Obviously, we know mentally the game is important. Like, did that take away a little bit from it, or were you still able to stay focused despite everything going on?
Fight weeks are all chill and really just hang out with the team and really enjoy the experience. It's not about, oh, I gotta get, like I gotta stay like an animal style, ready to kill, this and
Yeah.
that. Not really for us, not really, man. The work is done. It's like you're not gonna get any better in a week. It's like what are you gonna do in a week that's really gonna change the fight? It's not. So for us, it was like we just enjoying the experience and really just enjoying the experience and go out there and fight and have fun.
And so, what are you doing during fight week during this? Because I assume you guys aren't able to go out and stuff like that. Are you just sitting in your hotel with your coaches, bored out of your mind, or are you still able to do a little bit?
The the first few days you can go out and stuff like that, but Ubers and Lyft were so terrible down there. It took us 30 minutes just to find an Uber just to go like 3 minutes.
Oh
That's
yeah.
how that's how crazy it was. So it was not worth it us to going outside anyway. So like we'll walk around and stuff like that, and then we'll go to the PI train for a little bit, come back. But beside that, not a whole lot. Everybody had their room and kind of just hang out and just do what they do.
And so I'm trying to think back to the weigh-ins and stuff. But did you have a face mask with the Moroccan flag on there?
I had the Morocco. This says the Morocco. Half side said the Moroccan devil, and the other side said the Moroccan flag.
Man, that's dope. How did you get that done? Did you have someone approach you, or did you make that especially for the fight?
My wife gave it to me as a gift before I left to the fight. Her friend does like a bunch of like homemade like what do you call that like
Oh, the sewing and all that
sewing.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So she did that, and then they surprised me and they gave me that mask. And I was like, oh, perfect. I can wear it. It doesn't have no logos or nothing. It just has my name on it and all that, so I can wear it for the UFC.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, especially cool when you see the guys that have the flags on there and stuff like that. It looks dope. But listen, that brings me to my question about your nickname, though. Obviously, it's the Moroccan Devil. I think it's pretty easy to figure out why it's Moroccan. But so, what's the origin behind Moroccan and specifically the Devil part of your nickname?
My old coach I used to train with, so he knew that I like Badr Hari so much. So Badr Hari had like so many names. He had the Moroccan Devil, the Golden Boy, the bunch of stuff like that. So after my first Muay Thai fight with him, that kickboxing fight that I did with my old coach, he started calling me Moroccan Devil. He's like, you're the next Moroccan Devil, blah blah blah, and I just started like laughing, loved it, and all that, and then he just started calling me from there, and it stayed there.
Yeah, it's perfect. We know the best nicknames are the ones that people give you, and not you telling people, "Hey, go ahead and start calling me the Moroccan Devil." That's so
Yeah,
much better.
I'm not doing that. Like that's what I was weird about it. Like a couple fights I fought with no name on mine, but I'm before even MMA started, I he gave me that name, so it was perfect. As soon as I started MMA, they started calling me that name, so I was like, perfect.
Excellent. Let's talk about this fight a little bit. Obviously, I believe that's your second fight in the UFC. Things are going great. I mean, you go out there, get the unanimous decision against Griffin. How do you look back at your performance in that fight?
There's a lot still to learn. That fight was an important fight for me. It really showed what I can do in defeat. It's like I don't think I ever seen shown that in my first fight yet. Like I shown my movement and all that in my first fight. Haven't showed my like complete just striking. I try to mix everything up in a fight. Like I don't just not just strike. I just try to do everything. But for me, it's like it just showed like I still got a lot to learn from that fight, and even in a short notice, we it shows how ready we stay.
And so the big talk with these fights at the Apex is, of course, smaller cage, and also there's no crowd. Did you feel the effects of the smaller cage or the no crowd, or did you stay in the zone?
To me, I really didn't care, like whatever. But the crowd though, that one was a little weird for
Yeah,
me. It was very weird for me. I walked out, and all I see is the UFC guys that work there
yeah.
and the commission just staring this, wrapping their hands around and just staring at you. No, not even a single word coming out. I'm like, oh my god, this is like weird. But I feel like I'm sparring, but I'm sparring for like a private guy or something like that.
Yeah, was it beneficial for you though? With I assume you can hear your coaches perfectly, also his coaches as well. But was that beneficial for you in that aspect?
It was not for me. I really don't like. I know a lot of guys like who say I want to hear the other corners' voices and stuff like that. For me, don't matter. It's like as long as I hear my coaches, that's all that matters. So for me, it was not that big of a deal.
And so, what did this do for your career? Like, I assume you get back on social media. Did you get a lot of attention? Like, did you find that people are talking about it? What did this do for your career?
It just showed like, especially in my country, man. I have a lot of followers back there, so it's like for me, it's like I get to show all the Moroccans what we can do, even at an MMA level. We don't have that many MMA. I'm the only Moroccan that ever fight twice in the UFC. So for me to go out there and do that and really represent my country and really put it in there, like we're not worried about short notices. We're not saying no like to this and this and that. So for me, it was a very cool thing to see and to see all the support behind that. Like people talking about it back home, like they talking about it back here. So it's really cool to see.
And so, speaking of Morocco, what's kind of your relationship with Morocco? Obviously, you were born there. That's where you're from. I assume you have a lot of family. Are you able to go back as much as you like and everything? What's kind of your relationship with that?
Went back in October, and then I came back, and then all this stuff happened.
Yeah.
I was gonna go like this month or next month, but I'm just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. What about if there's a second pandemic? I was like, and I gotta they close the airports and stuff like that. So for me, it was like, I don't know if it's too risky right now to go and all that.
And so, what's the MMA scene like over there? I know we're still trying to figure out how MMA is in different countries. What about in Morocco? Like, is there this big understanding? Is there a fan base? Do you kind of have to explain what you do? Like, it's not quite boxing, it's not wrestling. Like, well, what's it kind of like over there in Morocco?
Many MMA. I think there's like one gym that I heard of, but Beside that, there is no MMA. Like
Yeah.
it really isn't. Like people don't know. Like I'm pretty sure they just started doing jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. But beside that, it really there is no MMA. Like I seen like it's old kickboxing, like
Yeah.
small gyms, like garage Thai pads are like old as hell. Like
Okay.
that's where I come from. It's like you go to a gym, like there's no ring, there is no boxing ring, there is no cage, there's none of that. There's just puzzle mats, and then you
Yeah.
spar. That's it. It's like there's nothing else. So that's my one of my goals is to really just bring the knowledge back home and really get to share with all the young people and all the people that really want to do this.
And so, what's the way to kind of spread that in Morocco? Is it? I know here in France we had some fighters that went and did seminars and things like that, trying to get people to understand what it is. Is that something you have to do? Like, have you thought like what can you do to bring attention aside from going out there and kicking ass when the time comes?
I haven't thought about it, but I'll definitely be available to do like privates in my country. Like I go there and like last time it was me and my wife, and I haven't seen my family for 10 years, so it was like kind of uh, just having fun with my family because I haven't
Yeah.
seen them for so long. But next time I can come in, I'm be like, okay, like we can do some seminars here and there, like just have fun. Especially when I get there, me and my wife and my family always like to travel. So like we'll go. We're not staying in one spot. So like one day we here. The first week I'm my family's house. Next week we just moving around. Just travel and see the whole Morocco. I get to show my wife as well. She hasn't really experienced Morocco completely, but want to show that.
Where's your wife from?
From originally from Connecticut, but she
Oh
she
yeah.
she lived in yeah, she went to college here and everything.
And so, was she aware of Morocco? Because Morocco is one of those countries, like, for example, in France, people are very familiar with it. In America, not always. Like, was she familiar with the country, or did you have to kind of show her around, talk to her about it?
My wife is it's like a nerd. Like you tell her something, she'll find like she's already on websites, Googling
Yeah.
stuff and all this and that. By the time like you pass, she know Morocco more than me. So it's crazy to see that. So she's pretty smart. So she'll figure it out. Trust me.
That's pretty good. Coming back to fighting, though, realistically, when do you think we're going to see you in the cage again? There's a lot of talk, Fight Island, stuff like that. Do you think there's a chance we might see you on Fight Island, or got to take some time off?
No, 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 no.
No.
My ass will be here, bro. I'm
Yeah.
I'm trying to I'm trying to fight in hopefully in August. I have August 29th. I know Anthony Smith and Zach Cummins, my teammates, are fighting on that card. So I would love to just go out there and really just experience another fight camp. I mean, fight camp, fight week with my actual teammates. I know it's nerve wracking sometimes, but I know I'll be the first one. So I'll be the first one to fight and just leave. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's why I like it that much.
For sure, man. One last question. I think you knew it was coming. I'm sure people have asked you a million times, probably tired of answering it, but who do you want next?
Oh man, the UFC is a different level. So for me, it's like I really don't care, man. It's like whoever they give me. I know the next fight will be at bantamweight. So for me, it was
Oh,
like we'll see who they're gonna give us as a bantamweight debut. So for me, I'm pretty excited about that.
for sure. Lots of big stuff coming for you. Listen, congratulations on the win, man. Obviously, it was a big one. You know that. Thank you for the time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man.